Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Debbie Weems, founder of DW Consulting Solutions. We're really glad you could spend some time with us today. This is our first LinkedIn webinar of 2023, the big mysterious LinkedIn algorithm. It's always a mystery to most people, and thankfully I've got some experts I could lean on to research for this webinar. So I want to welcome my Vice President of Operations, Davey Gabbard, and also Beth Wagmeister, who is giving us our ASL interpretation. And as always, our recorded webinar will be captioned and it will go out to every person that's registered, whether they were able to attend or not. So thank you for being with us. And Davey, I'm going to ask you to kick off our webinar.
Fantastic. Okay, so we always like to open up the webinar with just a little context because we know we have new folks who have joined our DWCS community. So we just want to share with you our perspective on using LinkedIn. As most of you know, Debbie is a master networker with over 15,000 LinkedIn connections and probably 50,000 direct connections in her career as a networker. So what we continue to do is emulate the best of old school networking practices. We just use cutting edge technology. When you are interacting with folks on LinkedIn, engaging with them or connecting with them and networking with them, we still want you to do it like you would do it in person and with the same good, cordial, polite, professional and appropriate sales techniques to build your business and your network. Our philosophy is the know, like, trust philosophy, and that we believe will never go out of style, either in person or virtually. It's really a three-legged stool, your approach to LinkedIn. Number one, you need to have a complete and optimized profile because it is your digital footprint in the professional world, and it is how you represent yourself. You never get a second chance to make that first impression. The next thing is connect in a way that builds your network thoughtfully and make sure that you are not pitching in your invitations or in your initial communications. Nobody likes that. You don't like that. Don't do it. And then thirdly, engage in a way that brings value with the feed. That is how the algorithm is going to take you to success on LinkedIn. So let's get into it, Debbie. All right, so what are your goals for LinkedIn? Your goals are to build a network of professionals who can lead you to business or turn into business, okay? And that business may be your business of finding a job as well. It's a way for you to build your brand. We all have our own brand, our own personal professional brand, and that LinkedIn is your place to share that. And then your opportunities to engage, how you engage and interact. Think of any interaction with an individual or the entire network. So your invitations to connect, your posts, attending or hosting live events, publishing newsletters, sharing your knowledge, and being authentic. Authentic is the new black, okay? So the one thing that probably has come out of the pandemic that we all are experiencing is that we are allowing ourselves to be authentic more now than ever. And these activities will grab the attention of the algorithm, and that's really your key to visibility so that the people in your network will see your posts and then they can engage it with you. All right, so Debbie, tell us, what is this mystery science, the algorithm?
Well, if you look it up on Google, this is what you'll get. A process or set of rules to be followed for problem solving, especially by a computer. So a couple of things to know about the LinkedIn algorithm. Nobody really knows exactly all there is to know about how it works. My intent today is to show you what's important to know about getting more visibility by doing things properly in terms of what the algorithm is looking for on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is completely about engagement. The longer they can get people to stay on a post, the more engagement they can get between the originator of a post and the people commenting. That's great for all their advertisers. And that honestly is what it's about. It's business and it's getting members to spend more time on the site. one thing to know about your post, and I'm going to get into a lot of different things that will add to your effectiveness to, favor the algorithm or have them favor you. The first 90 minutes of your post are the most important. Everything's going to come down to content, what you're talking about, what you're posting. But when you initially hit post, up goes whatever it is you have to say, and LinkedIn's algorithm starts to watch it. And what they're looking for is reactions. Those are the 6 choices you have when you hover on the like button. They're looking for comments. I'm going to get into more detail on that. And basically, they're looking for value, because an exchange between the originator and the network out there is what it's all about. And I learned a lot of things during the research. I'm crediting the 3 specific LinkedIn experts at the end of this webinar, and I'm going to encourage everybody to connect with them. They're awesome people. I've known them for years. They are far more astute at analytics than I ever will be. So I respect their talent in that area. And liking your own post doesn't really seem to increase the reach, which was kind of interesting. There's a lot more to this. I'm going to let Davey take the next slide here. Go for it, Davey. Thanks.
So let's talk about engagement, how you engage. We briefly touched on some ways to get the attention of the algorithm. The one we're probably most familiar with is the reaction button. Those are those 6 icons you see below a post. They're liking, celebrating, supporting. The post makes you happy, you love the post, or you find it insightful. We call this lazy engagement. I'm a big fan of lazy engagement and letting the computer do the lifting for me. It's important that if you have no time to do anything on LinkedIn, you take the time to come in and at least react to some of the posts on the feed to do yourself the favor of staying involved in the algorithm. The next thing is comments. This is a great way to start the engagement and start a conversation with the viewers or the original poster. So you always want to write more than 4 words. So we see a lot of the posts that are congratulating people for getting new jobs. Do more than go, congratulations, Davey. Okay, say, congratulations, Davey. It's a joy to watch your career success. So get some way to engage. Give a sentence that you could say so that the algorithm will pick up that it's a conversation. Okay, and if they respond back, which we recommend you do, start a conversation. You will be rewarded for that. So all commenters, all comments are notified to the originator. That lets them know that you appreciate their interaction, and it also again kicks into the algorithm. They love a conversation going back and forth. And then engage with all these commenters. Engagement, and more than just you can do the reaction if that's all that you have time to do, but more is better, and conversations are rewarded. So the algorithm likes posts. Now this is new information to us, and this we're me and I are right now trying to figure out our new strategy. 1,200 to 1,600 characters, 15 to 20 sentences seems to be the sweet spot, but not all of your posts need to be this lengthy. So experiment with topics, timing, as well as content to see what's really resonating with your network. We always believe that you should add an image or graphic, a video to your posts because they grab people's attention and they will make them stay on the post longer. They just, we know they make the post, as they say, stickier to the viewer. And you want to make sure your content is valuable, okay? Unless you're a restaurant, I don't want to see your eggs Benedict, okay? That's for Instagram or Facebook, okay? It's not for LinkedIn. Unless you're at a networking event, or you're meeting someone for a business meeting, or you're a chef. Okay. So think about it. It would need to inform, educate, and offer value. Talk about what you know and what's important to you from a professional perspective. Show your industry expertise, as well as the fact that you're someone we want to be around, or someone that is interesting to engage in water cooler conversation, because not all conversation has to be related to the specific area, your industry or your product or service. That we're building relationships with people. It just needs to be professional and engaging and appropriate. If you're a person that uses or follows hashtags, 3 to 5 is plenty. It allows people that are hashtag followers to zero in on your content, and it allows that content to be indexed across the internet. And now we're finding out you're rewarded for posting once a day. You don't need to post several times a day. We know that when we work with clients who are interested in upping their LinkedIn game, time is important. And that's why our tagline is time is money. We will save you both. We're on LinkedIn all day, but that's our job. And it's just one of your tools. So now we're finding that once a day, no more than once in 18 hours is a successful strategy. All right, Debbie, tell us what not to do.
Where do I start? First of all, it needs repeating that you don't want to be negative with either initiating a post or in comments. And I'm going to get into this for a minute here because we all deal with the person that's sometimes called a troll, somebody that purposely makes a not so positive comment on something you have to say, somebody that seems to be in a mood to pick an argument or challenge you. Let me tell you what not to do when you see that. If you see a post like that, use the 3 dots in the upper right corner. It's called an ellipsis. That little 3 dots, that appears on every post, every invitation, every article, every newsletter, just about everything on LinkedIn. Start looking for that ellipsis because there's a lot of choices underneath it. So if you see a post that is just off the wall, wrong, what you don't want to do is comment or react to it. Instead, with a post like that, tap on those 3 dots and report it. LinkedIn wants to know, and they will act on anything that's reported, whether it's an inappropriate spammy invitation. This is all anonymous. When you report anything, even if it's an ad on your homepage feed, which is a great way to clean up your feed, by the way. It's taken me a couple of weeks of specifically going to those promoted ads when I come across them, hit the 3 dots, report the ad. Why? Because it's spammy, and I just let it go. It's anonymous. There's nothing bad about doing that. It's telling the algorithm, hey, I really don't want to see this company's promotion anymore. And amazingly enough, it's taken about 2 weeks, but my feed is a whole lot different now than it was last month. And I know that little effort of using the ellipsis, those 3 dots, is really paying off. When you do comment or react to a negative thing, you're helping to further that negative content, and you just don't want to do that. So if that's been your habit, change it. Don't be a slave to the algorithm. It's not the end all be all to success on LinkedIn. It's a big part of it. And I'm going to get very transparent here. Yes, I have a giant network. To me, 14,000 connections, and out of that, I probably have 400 or 500 followers because I'm in creator mode. But I don't get the visibility that people often think I should on the things that I post. Thousands of views. No, that doesn't happen every other day the way a lot of people think. Just because I have a big network, then I'm going to get a lot of hits, views, whatever. It comes down to content. And what I learned most from this research, I'm going to cut back on posting because if you know me, I post a lot. And my theory has always been there's 14,000 people out there. They're not all going to see everything. It's probably okay if I post a couple of times a day. Well, from all the research I just did, I stand corrected. So now I'm purposely going to experiment with longer text on my posts to kind of copycat the idea of 10 lines of text. I'm going to be cognizant of how often I post and see what happens, because this is a learning experience and we learn just along with everybody else that we work with. And tagging. All right, that's when you put the @ sign in front of a person's name or a company name. It turns into a bold mention. That's what it's called. And it's a link directly to that person's LinkedIn profile or directly to that company page. It's a nice way to do what we call a shout out or mention someone to kind of put the spotlight on them. What you don't want to do with tagging is 20 or 30 names in a post, and there are lots of members that are doing it on purpose to try to draw attention to what they're posting so they can get more views or more interaction. Only tag or mention when it makes sense to do so. Don't do it to try to get a cheerleading squad together because that's not going to help you. And the algorithm, LinkedIn is actually going after, let me think of how they were termed. I think they're called tagging parties. And I know of one group on LinkedIn that has them regularly. Not a good thing. It's artificial engagement, and LinkedIn is savvy to that. If you think the algorithm and analytics on LinkedIn, let me tell you, LinkedIn is really good at what they do. Just don't tag a whole bunch of people just to draw attention. And if you're going to tag people, it's better to do it within the comments rather than the text. And that's something new to us too. I go to a lot of events. I always take pictures. I always post them, and I always mention the people in the pictures. Now that's done intentionally because I do want them to know, hey, I posted this from last night. It's going to show your network. If you look at my post and like it, or just acknowledge, comment, whatever you want to do. But if you come to my post and you react to it, your network's going to know what you did, for networking this week. I've been doing that for years, and that's intentional mentioning, and I mention everybody. If I have 7 pictures, you can upload 9 to a post from the mobile app. And you should start doing that if you haven't done it, because it's an easy way to let your network know what you're doing. It's all about networking, always. And that's the way to properly mention. So you'll see me start to do all my mentions in the first comment on my post instead of where I've used to do it, which was right in the text. Hopefully that made sense. Don't correct a typo right away. If you post something and say, oh, geez, I misspelled that word. This is new to me too. I'm telling you, we learn stuff all the time, and it's great. Wait 10 minutes, because if you go right back to the post after you put it up and you correct and edit, apparently that dings the algorithm as far as engagement goes. So wait 10 minutes and then go back and do the edit. And again, you use the ellipsis. Go to your activity on your profile, click on post, go to the post that has the typo, and tap on that ellipsis in the upper right corner and choose edit and fix it up, and then off it goes. Okay, so I want to acknowledge these people because they're awesome. Richard Vanderblom, he's in Spain. I've been following him for quite a while. I've really just recently started really looking at the seminars that he posts, the recordings, the slide shares, whatever. He's very, very knowledgeable. And I probably learned more about this subject from researching him specifically, not just because he has a big, giant network, but because he knows what he's talking about, and he's been doing it a long, long time. And he makes it fairly easy to understand. So I'm highly recommending that you connect with each of these experts. And do note that when they have a large network, you have to remember this. It's a pretty simple lesson. If you're engaging with somebody that has networks like these 3 people, and they start communicating with you on a post that you've put up, guess what happens to your post? It goes out to their network. And that's going to really blow up your visibility in a great way. I love connecting and engaging with influencers on LinkedIn because if I can get their attention on anything that I add, if it's value add and I make a comment, on one of their posts. They're going to acknowledge me. And if I hit the jackpot, they're going to comment back to me. Now we're directly engaged. And that's a great thing to bump up your own visibility. You will see a rise in your views, your impressions, if you start practicing that as a strategy. And that is one of the marketing strategies that we teach. John Esperian, he is in, I think he's in Wales, but he's in England. I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever known anybody that does analysis like he does. And he has an espresso group that meets over coffee online. And you can join his espresso group and really pick up on your knowledge about analytics and the algorithm. He spotlights somebody every Friday morning in his network. He's just a terrific person to be connected to. Kevin Turner is in Dallas. Kevin and his wife Dana have done LinkedIn instruction, guidance for professionals and people in transition and resumes and all sorts of stuff, a whole lot longer than we have. And I'm hoping to meet them next month in person. So I've been connected to him for quite a while. I've learned a lot from Kevin. And a couple of years back, Kevin started a group on Clubhouse, if anybody remembers that. I think it's still around, but I'm definitely not active on it anymore. And that's where I really got to know Kevin and a whole group of people from the UK that I'm still very much in touch with today. So again, these people are very valuable to know and follow. Those links should be live right to their profile when you get the replay of this webinar and the documents that go with it. Here's a little bonus for you. Your Social Selling Index Score, SSI, is what it's known as. This is like LinkedIn's checklist of how well you're doing on LinkedIn. And it has to do with 4 different categories: your engagement, how you build your network, how you interact with people. It's pretty interesting to look yours up. It takes 1 second to click on that link and boom, you will have your LinkedIn Social Selling Index. And if you score, I didn't know this either, if you score a 70 or more, LinkedIn favors you, for when you start posting and engaging. So it's pretty easy to look at the breakdown of the 4 categories and make improvements where you need to up your score. I know people that check this like every couple of weeks, and they're diligent about trying to up their game with that score. So check that out. And Davey's going to take us through a few things coming up.
Great. Okay, so we just want to announce officially our 2023 webinar schedule. So you can save the dates. Our webinars are always at noon Eastern. And as always, if you are not able to attend, just go ahead and register and you will be included in the replay. So we're looking today, January 25th, and we'll be doing webinars every other month this year. So end of March, end of May, end of July, end of September, and then at the end of November. And we just want to again thank those of you that participated in our survey. We were pleasantly surprised and really excited about what everyone shared that they were interested in. We felt like we had a pretty good handle on what the topic should be, and we were wrong. So we were mostly right, but there were a couple topics that you shared you were interested in that we were excited to see and build content for. So you'll be seeing more information on the full portfolio webinars coming shortly with all of those topics. I just have to build it all out, and then we'll be sharing that. As always, we want you to engage with DW Consulting Solutions. Let's get engaged in the new year. The first and most important thing to do is to connect or follow with Debbie and me on LinkedIn. And then make sure you've subscribed to our monthly newsletter. You can do that by visiting our website. And then once you're there visiting our website, you can download a free ebook. It's a short white paper on, not quite a white paper, but it's a short paper on some key for you. And we are on other social channels. We encourage you to follow us there. We have a presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. LinkedIn is, of course, our primary social platform and where you will have the most opportunities to engage with us. My point being, you won't get a ton of content from us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then YouTube is where all of our video content is as well. Then, if you haven't booked your 15-minute complimentary LinkedIn profile review with Debbie or me, take the opportunity to do that. And if you haven't done it in a while, things have changed on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to always have that 15-minute call with you. No obligations, no sales pitch. We just want to get to know our network and help where we can. For those of you that are our customers, I hope that you would attest that we are known to oversell or over service our clients. And while everyone is here to build business, we're also here to build community.
Awesome. Thank you, Davey.
Absolutely.
And I also want to mention, because you just kind of brought it to mind, something new, relatively new for most of our network. We now offer monthly support to our clients, something that we just recently started, so that you can get a quick hour once a month and get everything that's new, which most of that you can get in our newsletter every month for LinkedIn tips. We try to keep up with the changes and let people know what's changed since the last month. But monthly support kind of keeps you on track, and it keeps you accountable for staying up with our action plan, and doing what you need to do on LinkedIn to keep building your network and engaging with your network. The 15-minute review can be had right here with this link for myself or Davey. We love doing those because we're pretty much guarantee a couple of quick edits for improvement right over the phone. And again, I stress no obligation. It's just our way of getting people in front of us so that we can show them what we do and help them immediately right over the phone. Beth is a fantastic resource for ASL. She is with the WAG group, as in Wagmeister. And I love what she does. If you go to any of the downtown Palm Beach Convention Center events that the Chambers put on, you'll see Beth or one of her staff on stage doing ASL for that meeting. Fascinating, very accomplished. I encourage you to use her services for any of your events coming up. And I think that about wraps up our first webinar of the year. And thank you all for attending. We really want you to get off to a good start this year, meet the goals you've got set up, and hopefully we'll be able to help you do that. And Davey, do you want to say anything, last words?
I just want to say Happy New Year, everyone. We're looking forward to seeing your LinkedIn success and being a part of it. And again, Debbie, I just want to express some gratitude for your continued love and support professionally and personally. I'm looking forward to an amazing 2023.
Likewise, Davey. Thank you. Take care, everybody, and make it a great month, what's left of it now.
Bye, everybody.